Welcome. Apparently, what I'm about to do is live on the edge. That's what someone just said when I told them I was going to make beetroot chips for this video. These beetroots, obviously, yeah, these need to be used. As you can see, they're kind of limp, and they're starting to get a little bit soft. Hence, beetroot chips today. Now, I've made these many times with varying levels of success. Let's give it a whirl. First thing I'm going to do is just chop off the ends, the tops and the ends. I'm going to wash them now. Now, the reason I'm going to make beetroot chips is because they're so popular in our household and anyone I serve them to. It's a way to have your beetroots devoured. Not always the easiest to cook. If you want to roast them, you have to wrap them in tin foil, and they take ages. But with chips, it's well, I want to say it's easy. It's not. I think it might be easy if you know how. I was all ready to peel them, which I typically do, but I consulted the internet before I switched this video on, just to see if there was a definitive guide to making beetroot chips, making them crispy and actually work. And according to a spicy perspective, there's no need to peel them. So I am just going to neaten them up a little bit. There's still some rough bits. Don't even try slicing them evenly. It won't work. I've tried many times. You'll end up with some that are so thin they just turn into charcoal, others that remain too fat and never cook. So if you have a mandolin, use it. And if you don't have one, get one. This is a crappy one. And I don't even know if it works that well, but it's better than trying to get them even with a knife. So let's give it a go. Being very careful not to chop your fingers, which is what happened the very first time I used this. Okay, I'm going to get a fork. I'm sure that there is some kind of implement that you can stick in your vegetables so that you can slice them. You know what? Leave the end safer. I'll keep going. I think I read about some sort of chain link gloves that you can get that make this safer. I might look into those. And you can just chew on the bits left over. Now, according to this spicy perspective guy, the key to ensuring that you have crispy beetroot chips is leaving them. I keep having to learn this lesson over and over. I'm obviously having to learn patience, which is good. So we add some oil. I think it was, I don't know how much. Olive oil and salt. And what this does, when they're left, how should I put in? When you leave the beetroot sitting, so you've got to do this, like really disperse the oil and the salt throughout your beetroot chips. And then apparently leaving them in the salt is what sweats them, which is, that's sore. Leaving them sitting for 15 to 20 minutes in the salt sweats them, removes the moisture, and that is apparently the key to crispy. And you know that once you've eaten these, the next day, everything that comes out of your body will be tinted with pink. Years ago, when my children were little, my son announced that he had blood in his pee. So took him to the doctor, and it was one of those last minute, no booking, emergency appointments, to wait for ages. We finally get into the doctor, and she's asking all the questions. How long has he had blood in his pee? He said it was just that day. And then he looks up at me and whispers, I also had blood in my poo. And at that moment, I just realized he hadn't shown me his pee, just his dad, who's colorblind, wouldn't know the difference between pink and red. And I remembered that just the previous day, the child had eaten a bowl this size of beetroot chips. And we had spent 2 hours of a 2 hours on a sunny Saturday waiting in a doctor's surgery. Anyway, there's probably some life lesson there. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to leave these sitting. I will be back in 20 minutes. I'm back, and I thought I was going to come on here and say that I was doubtful of Spicy Perspectives guidance on leaving this sitting, but look, I've just looked at the bottom of the bowl and all this liquid. So this really does work. I mean, no wonder my beetroot chips have often been a bit soggy, because I've never done this step. I think I need to maybe squeeze even more. Yeah, there's loads of liquid. Okay. I am now newly inspired. I was going to keep these really simple and just season with salt and pepper, but I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to put smoked paprika into one, and I'm going to try vinegar on the other. I came across that online and I thought, oh, that's a bit risky, but in the spirit of living on the edge, let's just go for it. Okay, wash my hands. So a little bit of smoked paprika will go in here. They need to be reworked. Hair. Apple cider vinegar, a little lid, I think, a little bit more, that I'm going to massage into the other bowl with a little bit of extra salt. It's my cut thumb. And now begins the somewhat laborious task of spreading these out on a single layer on an oven dish. This is where you could just put some nice music on, a podcast, or just treat it as a meditation. It took about 5 minutes and magically fits perfectly into 2 trays. So this was 3 beetroots, fits onto 2 oven trays. I've got my smoked paprika ones here and my salt and vinegar ones. I'm going to put these in the oven at 150 Celsius for 45 to 50 minutes. I will see you when they're done. If these don't work, on Spicy Perspectives head be it. I would probably be inclined to turn it up much higher, but let's just go with him. Okay. That was a really fast 45 minutes. Here's the taste test. They look slightly overdone. Mm. These are crispier than any beetroot crisps I have ever made. These are great. Salt and vinegar, great move. Wherever I read that. Mm. I actually just want to eat all of these. I'm not sure where the paprika is. Can't really taste any. Elsie also gives them the thumbs up. She's like one of those vacuum cleaners that just goes around. It's very handy. Mm. Spicy perspective, you get the thumbs up from me. Thank you for your guidance.